Hello everyone, I'm here with Tech Motorsports, and yeah, here behind me is my nice little Nardo Gray E46 M3. So to explain, I was tossing and turning a lot last night. Couldn't get any sleep, so I woke up early. Woke up early enough to have grabbed a cup of coffee and started washing the car. She was pretty dirty. And then after that, I got started and started working on some cars in the garage. And there's one item that I've had sitting there for the longest time, or for 3 months, at least 3 months, was the SMG steering wheel. And that was one of the things that when I first got the car, I'm like, I'm going to look for one of these days. I'm going to get it and I'm going to install it, and I want a nice one. The current steering wheel has been recovered, and it was a sloppy job. One thing I stated before was the stitching is off-centered down towards the bottom, and it just would drive me nuts. And it's really, really hard. And it was starting to come apart where the paddle shifter is at. So yeah. Took a few minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and get it installed and get it knocked out and get the car back on tip-top shape. So let's look at the steering wheel that I got. So here's the new steering wheel. It is in pretty darn good condition, I do have to say so myself. So yeah, we're going to remove this and install this. So there's a bunch of pretty much everything off of the here. It's going to go back on this one. So the first thing to do is I have to remove the airbag, and I know everybody always says disconnect, power, this and that, but I've done a handful of these that I feel safe enough to go ahead and just leave the power on and just take the airbag out. So first thing is to release the airbag. So in the steering wheels, you have this little hole in the back, and what you got to do is you got to put it in pretty much like right on the side this way. And what you're doing is you're putting the, let's see if I can get to it here a little bit better. You're putting the screwdriver right where that spring is at, and if you get it and you press on it, you can see, oh, I'll get to it here. You got to press onto the back of that metal plate, and then you can see the spring move, and that's how you release it. So you have to do one at a time and kind of pull on it and hold it, and do the same thing with the other side. So let's get started on the one that's here. Okay, let's get a closer look at these clips. So you have the yellow one with the green and the solid black one. They're different, so you can't put them backwards. So to take this off, there's this clip on top. So grab a little pick, and you can just put it right underneath the yellow and the green, and kind of just hold on to it. And you have to do the same thing with the other side. And then that tab comes out, or just pops up. So when you have that tab already popped out, then you should be able to just pop it right on out. And that, so you have a green and you have a green, so that way you can't mess them up. And airbag off. So when you do that, do the green and yellow one first. That way you could actually see the clips and how it goes, because the black one, sometimes it's a little tough to tell where you put your pick through and everything. So just a nice friendly reminder on that part. So I've already the key is already out, so it locked in place. So now my steering wheel is straight. So all I have to do is just slide it right on out. Besides, I gotta take these little clips out. So there she is, off. Just having to get the clips out. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to go take this into my shop and go ahead and swap everything over, so I can come back in and throw it out together. Okay, so going to be taking the bottom section off. So first of all, there's two Torx heads screws in here. So because mine is a little shallow, I have to push down just a little bit to get it to bite. Luckily this is a kind of like a foam, so it'll be fine. And then you also have two screws that hold this piece So now it is time to remove my paddle shifters. So there are my little paddle shifts. Alright, so there we go. So just looking at my connectors, make sure everything is good. They all look identical here, nothing out of the ordinary. So out with the poopy steering wheel. In with a nice jewel. Ah, yes. Alright, let's start assembling it. So failed to mention, so I got to plug this in, but these are little clips that go in here. So when you do take the screws out from the bottom and then the two from the sides here, as you saw earlier, I just pried up, and you just got to get past these little clips here, and that's pretty much it that's holding it in place. Just got to make sure they're aligned. You get your steering wheel controls and your cruise control plugged in. Looks like I got my horn wire in the way. Almost had a little brain fart. Forgot the screws on this one are still on it. Well, there she is, all back together for the most part. She does look money. So, so yeah, so I'm gonna go back out to the car and install it and be done. Sweet. Okay, so here we go. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is if you really look at the steering wheels very close, you can see that on the actual shaft itself, on the column, you have a little a line or a slot Same thing with in your steering wheel. So just in case if you don't get it aligned correctly, that way you can tell that, well, as long as this is straight, then you should be able to at least put the steering wheel back in straight. So there we go. Alright, now it's time for the bolt. Shoot, I left it in the shop. I'll be right back. Okay, got my bolt. Alright, so that's easy peasy. The next step is putting the airbag back in. You still want to make sure you have the clips out. Go back in. Just to play it safe. Alright. Make sure these the actual lockers are pushed out. And then they go in one way only. Lock it. And then with the back one. That's it. Everything's out of the way. Make sure I don't keep starting. And all you have to do is okay, so what I had to do is once I got this one in, it's tougher to place this one in for what I just left behind it and open up the screen. So she's back on, and yeah, she is much better. That decrepit cover was annoying for two reasons. One of the reasons were when they spliced it together, they put it here and it was off center, which drove me nuts. And the other thing too is when they put them behind this section here, because it's been so hard and it was starting to shrink, it started poking out, and every time I would put my thumb there, it would kind of like just jab me and cut into me. So she definitely feels so much better. Just way better. And yeah, so appreciate you guys watching. If you're ever in the need to swap out yours, I hope this helped you out. They're available pretty much anywhere. This one I got from a buddy. I worked on his car not too long ago, and he did a SMG to manual swap, so he replaced the steering wheel with an aftermarket one, and so he had this laying around, and I was like, yes, that's what I need. So thanks to him, and yeah, man, like always, like to subscribe, and hope to see you in the next one.